How's it going, everybody? This is Danny Till here, and you may be wondering what it is that I am doing because anybody who is subscribed to my YouTube channel only sees a video every once in a while or a stupid short from me doing stand up in a garage or some other random place. So, here's the thing it's New Year's Day. New Year's Day 2024. Everybody has these dumbass, New Year's resolutions where it's like, oh my god, I'm just gonna conquer the world, man. Just yeah. I'm gonna be the best. I'm gonna be the best in this, and this. And it's like you give up after 5 days. It's like when somebody says, oh, I'm gonna write in a journal every day, then you give up after 2 days. So I've been in and out of this YouTube channel for a while, and I figured let's try to be somewhat active on this. And I figure, you know what? Why don't I just do this? And if you're wondering what this is, I watch a lot of movies. I watch a fuck ton of movies. I forget what my 2023 count was on Letterboxd, but it was definitely around 450, if not 460. Because you have those days where you randomly just watch 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, even I wonder if I'm sure at some point I maybe have even watched 9 movies in a day if I really had nothing else to fucking do. So I figured, why don't I just talk about movies a little bit? Because I've been trying to do that with a podcast and everything like that, but because I'm so just lazy and don't want to or have to deal with all the system processing shit you got to deal with, I figured let's just record on this Mac that I have, and then let's just upload that to YouTube. So if you're cool with that, this is what this is. And for someone who has mild anxiety and very introverted, I don't know how I come across with that and through this. But excuse me, sorry. I figure let's talk about a few films today. Let's just randomly just talk about the first few that I watched of 2024. So something I decided to give a rewatch to because I had not seen it in 9 years. This is a random one to just rewatch, but I decided to give a rewatch to Expendables 3. Some may be wondering, why did I give a rewatch to Expendables 3? So in the library system where I live, they had the Blu-ray available, and I placed a hold on it. And the reason why specifically is because on the Blu-ray you have the unrated version, which is roughly 5 minutes longer. And anybody who knows the Expendables franchise knows that the third one took a dip because specifically for the PG-13 rating alone. A lot of the criticism of that movie was that it's PG-13. Stallone thought, oh yeah, no, let's give it PG-13 rating, more audience, blah, 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 and it didn't work. I mean, the movie made $214 million, but your movie cost $90 to $100 million to make, and it took a big, giant... And in September, we got Expendables 4. And as someone who never thought they would make a fourth one, I was curious. I liked the director they hired. I didn't really have much to go off of the writers of Expendables 4. One of them I know of, and I've watched their work on and off throughout the years. And they had a decent cast put together for it. A lot of relatively not like nobodies, but a handful of these actors are not well known. So anyway, Expendables 4 comes out, and it's the most disappointing movie of 2023 and also my worst. And technically I gave Meg 2 a lower rating than Expendables 4, but at least Expendables 4 was just my, 14, 15, 16-year-old self just getting shot on. So when I watched Expendables 3, the unrated cut, I was like, how is this? Because I have not seen this in a while. I haven't seen the third one in a while, and how much different is the unrated cut compared to theatrical, besides it being 5 or 6 minutes longer. Expendables 3 is decent. All right, I get the PG-13 rating definitely tarnished it. Definitely, brought it down on a level. But what I will say is the cast has really solid chemistry. Their banter back and forth is still there. The action sequences in it are pretty well staged. I mean, this is directed by Patrick Hughes. This was his second movie he had ever done. And even if Patrick Hughes' movies are hit and miss for me, something that he always delivers on are action sequences because he loves stunt people. And even on a movie of his that isn't good, called like The Man from Toronto, there is this one fight scene in a gym that is in sync with Joker and the Thief by Wolfmother that is really well staged. So on Expendables 3, there is this one stunt where it's Kellen Lutz's character. It's clearly not Kellen Lutz, but it's a stunt performer on a motorcycle. They go up this ramp, and it goes really fucking high, and then jumps off, grabs onto a ledge, or grabs onto a railing thing, and then just kicks two people. And that was also a movie where it was famous because Bruce Willis at the time was demanding a lot more money than his usual salary for the previous movie. So basically, like on the first one, Bruce Willis was there for I'm sure a day, and on the second one, I think he was there for like 3 or 4 days, and on the third, they were gonna do 3 or 4, or they're gonna do 4 days, but he was asking for $1 million a day. So what did they do? Instead of Bruce Willis, they went and got Harrison Ford. And from what I understand, I think the movie had not come out yet, or he just finished shooting it, or he was about to go shoot it. He was on Leno, and Leno was like, "So are you? So apparently you're in the Expendables, the Expendables 3?" And Harrison Ford's all, "Yeah." And then apparently Jay Leno's did was it obviously money, and I'm sure they offered him a decent paycheck to come in and shoot for probably like 3 to 5 days. But you can tell everybody had a fun time making this. They looked like they had a blast shooting this. And listen, it's definitely still a step down. I mean, even the unrated cut, if you're wondering like how different is it, it's not. Outside of a couple more uses of fuck, they don't have, blood added in or anything like that. It's nothing major aside from just, one or two more or scenes that are extended out more, and you have people saying "fuck" a little bit more than you could in the average PG-13 rating. But yeah, I mean that movie's a 3.5 out of 5. It's solid. So what was my next one? I decided to rewatch. By the way, like my main three that I've rewatched or that I've done today, they're all rewatches. I haven't seen them in forever. Another one is that I did today on a rewatch was Face Off. Face Off I had not seen in forever. It is like out of all the stuff that John Woo has made in the States, it's definitely his masterpiece, his greatest. like if you had to pick like all of John Woo's movies that he made stateside, no offense to Hard Target, no offense to Broken Arrow or any of the other ones, but like Face Off is the GOAT. Like Face Off is here, then you would probably go Broken Arrow, then Hard Target. And then, like, right in between there is, I would say, his most recent movie, Silent Night, which I know a lot of people did not like. And then you have Mission Impossible 2. And I have not seen Wind Talkers, but I hear it's not a good movie. And Paycheck wasn't that great either. I did not see Paycheck until earlier this year. But I remember when that movie came out, I remember that poster. I will say that. I remember that poster. So anyway, Face Off was, John Woo had just come off Broken Arrow. He had done Hard Target, already, and this was the first major movie that he had in Hollywood that he had full creative control. And the only thing that the studio asked him to cut out, and this is a very valid thing to cut out. So it's the opening. I mean, spoiler alert: if you've never seen Face Off, like why the fuck have you not watched Face Off? Opening scene is, of course, Nicolas Cage attempting to assassinate John Travolta, but the bullet obviously hits Travolta's kid in the movie. And they shot the full sequence where you see the kid get shot, and understandably, there are just certain things you cannot do. Like you can't see a kid getting shot anymore. Like we're not in the exploitation movies of the 60s and 70s and 80s where you can just do shit like that. I mean, like watch John Carpenter's original Assault on Precinct 13. A guy in an ice cream truck literally shoots a 12-year-old girl down with a handgun, and you see the bullet hit her. But yeah, like just there are just things you just can't do anymore, and killing kids on screen is one of them. It's kind of like it's also like how like in a disaster movie, like you just can't show the Freedom Tower go down because it's just glass. But anyway, so Travolta and Cage, this was such a great pairing. This was John Woo's personal pairing they wanted to do. Originally, the movie was set up to have Schwarzenegger and Stallone, but I just feel like Schwarzenegger and Stallone, it would have been cool to see them be in a movie together finally at that point, but at the same time, it wouldn't have been on the level that you had with John Travolta and Nicolas Cage. Because in their careers, John Travolta was in this weird place. So his career kind of like sputtered down, but then Pulp Fiction comes along, gets an Oscar nomination, he goes back up, and then Phenomenon made a ton of money. Michael did okay at the box office. Broken Arrow did solid at the box office. So this was like just the next step. Nicolas Cage is just whatever you want Nicolas Cage to be, and he had won the Oscar for Leaving Las Vegas a couple of years prior. And the reason why I say a couple of years is because I know. So, The Rock had come out already. The Rock had already been out. I forget if Con Air had already come out, or because because I remember correctly, Face Off and Con Air came out fairly close to one another. I just forget which one came out first. But basically, just like this was in the period where like Nicolas Cage action movies were just boom, 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 boom. So anyway, like obviously those two together, it's gonna be fantastic. And because this is also back in the day before green screen, before CGI, you had to shoot everything practically. So when you have a John Woo action movie on a large scale with a ginormous budget, this movie's going to take a long time to shoot. And according to Margaret Cho, who's in the movie, they shot that movie over the course of about a year. And some may be wondering like how the hell is it takes you a year to shoot one movie? Movies take it depending on like it just depends on what you're doing. I mean, like if you look at his movie The Killer with Chow Yun Fat from I believe 1988, if not 1989, that was a movie where it took 90 days. So 90 days is roughly, I would say, about 4.5 to almost 5 months, because generally on a movie set you work 5 to 6 days. Generally, I don't know if you get full like Saturday. I don't know if you get full weekends off or you just have one day off. I don't know. But anyways, and so again, like they really blow up a plane. They blow up boats. Like they explode everything for real. And this movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes. It flies by, and you have so many actors in here you totally forgot are in this movie. Like Thomas Jane is in the movie. John Carroll Lynch, who's one of our great character actors. Like he's somebody who, I mean, like the first movie I ever saw him in was Catch That Kid, and he said he's solid as one of the prison or one of the main prison guards. And yeah, this movie came out. It did really well at the box office. And then there's a sequel that is supposed to be made. I don't know when. Because Adam Wingard got hired almost 3 years ago. Right? And right now he's shooting, or he's finishing the sequel to Godzilla versus the Godzilla and King Kong sequel that's coming out. And I don't... Anybody off the top of my head, or off the top of their head, know if that's coming out in March or April? I don't know. Or even if it's coming out in the summer, I don't know. But I just know that movie's coming out in the next few months. And he has a lot of projects in development, and one of them is the sequel to Face Off. And I was rewatching an interview with Real Blend that he did, where he was promoting Godzilla vs. Kong, and Kevin McCarthy brought up Face Off, because Kevin McCarthy is a giant fan of Face Off. And then Adam Wingard said, or because they were curious, like, how are you going to make a sequel to Face Off? And he goes, well, and he goes, remember that scene at the end in the ambulance? Like, watch that scene again and notice one of the characters has a bandage on them. So that's kind of where you possibly get the idea for a sequel. And also, not to spoil too much about it, but like, a kid that's towards the end of the movie, what if, 20-something years later, that kid is grown up, he's in the FBI, and what if there's another child of Nicolas Cage's character, Castor Troy, And what if essentially the two, if you think about it, because it's technically two, like if so, it's the one kid who you find out is Castor Troy's son. Like, what if 25, almost 30 years later, there you find out Castor Troy had another son, and what if it's brother against brother going at each other? I mean, again, I don't know what's going on with this movie. I don't know if it'll even get made. I know Neil Moritz is producing it because his company, Original Film, their overall deal is with Paramount now. They went from Sony to Paramount. And hopefully that thing comes to fruition, and hopefully it's good. Because apparently Nicolas Cage has maybe three or four, I think even left like 5 movies left in him. I just ask one of them is Face Off 2, and I ask one of them is National Treasure 3. That's all I want. And the last movie that I'm going to talk about tonight is a movie I don't know if anybody has ever watched. If so, very few people have because they did not make money at the box office. This came out in January of 2012. And for those who know their movie release months, generally January and August are dumping grounds. Because those are the movies where the studios are like, yeah, we know this is shit, but we still need to put it out, so let's put it out in January, and then some cases August, because August is also that month where because you have where summer's dying out, kids are going back to school, so a lot of the time the weekend box office is slowly diminishing. Then by the time the Labor Day weekend comes around, where nobody's going to the movies, that is just. So this movie comes out in January 2012. It opened up against The Grey and the Katherine Heigl movie. I believe that movie's called One for the Money or something, and that is Man on a Ledge. I don't if anybody ever seen Man on a Ledge, give a comment and tell me what you thought. But I had not seen this movie in 11 years. I did not see it in the theater, but I remember when it came out on DVD in June of 2012. I remember this. It was like the first week of summer after school had let out, and I had rented from the video store. It was Man on the Ledge, Journey to the Mysterious Island, and John Carter, back to back. And also Act of Valor. That was another one as well. But anyway, sorry. So Man on the Ledge comes out. I watch it, and it's a solid thriller. I mean, it has a great cast. It's Sam Worthington, Elizabeth Banks, and I think she's really good in the dramatic role she has in this. Jamie Bell, the always beautiful Genesis Rodriguez. And listen, Elizabeth Banks is gorgeous as well. But, Genesis Rodriguez is also, wow. And then you also have Edward Burns. You also have Ed Harris, Anthony Mackie, Kira Sedgwick is in it, and William Sadler is in a small part that you don't really think about a lot about until at the end where you find out, oh, this is who this person is. And for those who don't know, this movie, its central plot is guy played by Sam Worthington checks into a hotel, has a meal, and then just steps out on the ledge. And you find out this guy had been framed for a crime he did not commit, and he's trying to prove his innocence. And Elizabeth Banks plays a cop who tried to bring down a jumper and failed. And she's still dealing with it. But he chooses her because he trusts her instincts. And while across the street, you find out that, hey, his little brother and his girlfriend are going in to try to find the diamond. And the diamond is in the building where Ed Harris is. And Ed Harris is the guy that allegedly they stole from. They want to go find the diamond to prove his innocence. And it hits the tropes you expect a heist thriller to do. You have some solid tension from, across the way. You have the two characters trying to steal the diamond or try to find the diamond. Then you have the other building where, again, he's on that ledge. He's trying to buy time. And it's also one of the few movies that Lorenzo Di Bonatoria produced that isn't based on an IP, I believe. Because for those who don't know, Lorenzo Di Bonatoria primarily produces big, giant IP spectacle. His famous stuff is the Transformers movies, G.I. Joe. He produced the two Meg movies. One of his upcoming projects is Madam Web with Sony. So this is a guy who works in IP primarily. And I will say though, when he was an executive at Warner Brothers, I will give him credit for this. He was a very key role. He had played a very key role in Warner Brothers getting the rights to Harry Potter and The Matrix. So I'll give him that. And listen, this movie is not great, but it is solid. And if you're wondering why I watched this one, so I randomly bought it on Blu-ray almost 8 years ago. This is in July 2016 at a used bookstore in Jackson, California. And it's been sitting on my shelf for forever. And then lately I've been thought, like, let's just get rid of some stuff, go through like what I really don't want anymore, watch it, and if I really want it, I'll keep it. And if not, just watch it and watch the behind the scenes making of bonus features and then just get rid of it. So that's one of those. And it's on all the major free streaming platforms, I believe, so give that a watch. So if you're wondering what my ratings are, Expendables 3, 3.5 out of 5. Face Off, 5 out of 5. Man on a Ledge, 3 out of 5. And yeah, that's like primarily the main stuff I wanted to just do. And again, this is not something I wanted to be like, okay, I'm going to do this, and this. This is primarily just me trying to just put myself out there more because I'm someone who always had aspirations to do said things. I haven't really done them, and it doesn't help that I'm an introvert with social anxiety, so that definitely does not help either. And this is probably just one step closer to maybe reaching, or not. And again, I'm not expecting myself to even go past maybe 150 subscribers or in maybe 30 views a video or whatever. But this is just like one step closer, or one step forward to, breaking out of my little bubble. And for those who are watching this are curious what the posters are, you got obviously Deadpool 2, the Daredevil poster. Sorry, God damn it. Okay, screw that. So you got Deadpool 2. I got that from when I worked at a movie theater. And the Daredevil poster, I originally was just going to buy the Ben Affleck solo poster where he's standing on a ledge, but all the characters on one giant poster or one poster was about the same, around the same price, if not cheaper. And then the butterfly effect, I love the butterfly effect. Apparently, that movie gets really mixed reviews. I love that movie. And then over here, we got King of Staten Island. Over here, we got Malibu's Most Wanted. Over here, we got Big Fat Liar. In this corner, we got Breakfast Club. On the other side of the wall, you have the Dark Knight Marathon poster from 2012. You also have an original Mummy on the side, and you have a Motley Crue poster over here. And if you're wondering, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these posters are originals. So yeah, so that's pretty much has just been this video. For those who are watching this, thanks. And yeah, this is just what I wanted to do. Have a good one.